Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Welcome, one and all, to the Dukes of Gaming podcast. I am your host with a bad hair day, but nonetheless, I rap, I make beats. They're all heat, and plus, I watch anime because I am your Duke of Anime, Thomas. And I want to thank everybody for choosing to hang with us for the next, hopefully, hour and some change with me and Alfredo. It sometimes goes a little over than that, but we're going to try to keep it a little under that today. Pray for us. But we're going to talk about what's happening in the world of video games. And of course, I am joined by my co-host. He's a Nintendo hater that plays all of his games on the hardest mode. He is the Duke of Education, Alfredo. How are you?
That's me.
How are you, my
Hello.
good sir?
I'm doing great.
Good.
Doing great. Finally able to play some video games instead of just working all the time. It's a great feeling.
It is a great feeling. It's opening up for me too. I've
Yes.
been grinding and only playing like games here or there, but this week I plan on indulging.
Yes.
So.
Yes. I've been able to finish 2 games this week. It's amazing.
Ooh. We'll get to that in one moment. Of course, you can find us on your favorite podcast service, watch us live on Twitch, and you can find us on YouTube as well. But of course, I have to ask the age-old gamer question, and you can go first, Alfredo. What have you been playing this week?
I would love to. Yeah, so I am playing a little game. Well, 2 games actually. One of them I've been talking about a little bit these previous weeks called Live. Still don't know how to say it. Live Alive?
I think it's Live Alive.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
Live Alive.
all the nerds have told me it's Live Alive. So I trust
good,
the nerds.
good.
And nerds I trust.
Reputable sources, I'm sure.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I've been playing Live Alive. I finally finished the game this weekend. So got through all 7 of the characters individual, stories. It's an anthology game, so each story is very, very specific to it's like a 2-hour mini campaign, like 7 of them basically.
Yeah.
Like 2-hour little experiences, little JRPG experiences, and then at the end it kind of brings them all together and is a more traditional JRPG where you get to I don't want to spoil it, but you get to use all your party members again and form a party and all of that stuff to tell a more like cohesive overarching story and kind of stitch together all of the different mini stories. So it's a pretty cool game. Now that I finished it, there are multiple endings to this game. I was able to get the true ending, basically, of it, and I'm pretty happy with what I experienced. I'm really, really happy in that they had a lot of really good stories. But I think that the one main drawback about this game, as I reflect on it, is that there's so many missed opportunities. Like I feel like a couple of these stories, I would say definitely 3 off the top of my mind, those could have been individual like 10 to 20 hour JRPGs on their own. Like I kind of wish they did expand on those ideas that they set forth with, because I didn't get enough time with them. And I was really hoping to, because they had some really good stories. My favorite one, shout out to the Earth and Heart seafood, is like Imperial China, basically you're in. And
I haven't played that one yet.
That's my favorite one.
Okay.
From a story perspective, you're basically a Sifu who is like who knows that his time has come, and before he goes, he needs to train a pupil, and he needs to he needs to pick a pupil, train them, and get them up to speed, teach them like everything that he knows. And it's just so good. I love it. I'll also say, for every single one of these anthologies, it is so hilarious how I guess they be killing people every 5 seconds. It doesn't matter if you're a main character. It doesn't matter if you're a side character. They will kill any character and every character in these stories because it's only a 2-hour experience. So they're like, okay, you're this person dead,
Yeah.
and it's just it's pretty fun, actually. I do like it because it's kind of like no character has plot armor, basically. And I really like that about this game. But yeah, I really wish it did a lot more in terms of that. I wish some of the stories also, like, very much so lack any sort of level up or battle battle in the JRPG sense. A lot of them abandon like the traditional, just okay, get into this battle, then fight, upgrade your weapons and all of that, and are just okay. This one's going to be a murder mystery where you literally don't fight anyone until like the very very end. They definitely have that experimentation going around, which is fun. But as a JRPG lover, I want I want to be able to level up. I want to be able to gain those new skills and use them frequently and stuff like that. Um, which you do get toward the end game, but I just wish that you did it a little bit more. And the last thing I guess, complain about is the gear system. The gear system makes zero sense. You are given like zero, like there's no money in this game. You can't buy new things. You have to find new items, and they are so like stingy on items that like you basically have to go the 2 hour experience, pretty much going with your original weapons. There
Right.
are
I don't think I've
very
changed weapons like any
exactly.
times, and
You don't
I'm halfway through, and I've never changed weapons. I don't think.
and you don't really have to either, because a lot of them you can just steamroll. They're not, the battles aren't hard or anything like
Mhm.
that. So you don't really have to until the end. You do have to grind. But they do have more traditional dungeons and stuff at the end. So enjoying it. I enjoyed the experience. I think it's a little bit overhyped. Just because like there's definitely some glaring like
I mean, was there hype around this game?
I mean, people are rating this game as like a 9 and a 10. I don't think it's quite that high.
I think that it is very subjective because I playing halfway through the game. I'm not finished, of course, but I can
Mhm.
easily see how people think this is a 9, just because there really isn't a game like this. Like,
There
I
isn't,
don't
yeah.
think there is a single game that I know of that is ever attempted to do what this game has done.
I agree.
And
Yeah.
and I feel like for the most part it pulls it off.
Yeah, for the most, I think from a story
Because I don't
perspective,
because
it definitely does.
it's not trying to be a 60-hour JRPG.
Right. I
Like I
just
would
think
have, because your criticisms are valid, and I definitely get everything you're saying.
Mhm.
I just look at it as the game, if it was trying to do that, I feel like would be miserable. If this thing was 60 hours,
Oh, I'm not okay. I can live without the 60 hours, but at least give me like the gear system. Like Thomas, I'm
but
talking about like some of these 2 hour experiences, they'll introduce a game mechanic specifically for gear. So
mhm,
like take the prehistoric era. Have you done that one?
that's when I got soft locked in.
Okay, yeah. Well, that area has basically like okay, they have like kind of like a blacksmith where to get new items, you basically combine random items that you get. And it has it in like a couple other of the chapters, but
Mhm.
basically you give them two items and they'll give you this random thing. This random item that is not helpful at all. That doesn't really help. Some of them do, but like it's random basically, right? And it's just the gear system is not well done at all. It's just randomness that doesn't really matter, that you don't
Yeah.
really need. And then the JRPG elements are completely abandoned in terms of a battle system in some of the chapters. I just want a little bit more of that. You don't have to give me like, not each one of them has to be 5 hours or something. I think they could stick to the 2 hours, 2, 3 hours that some of them are. I stick with that, but at least give me a good use the battle system, which is a good battle system. Use it to your advantage and don't make me play it to these 2 hour experiences 7 times over and then let me get that kind of experience. That's all I'm saying.
I got you. No, I mean that's fair criticism. I just look at it as, if it were any more expansive, I feel like it's in danger of overstaying its welcome.
Mhm.
Like I feel like there's a balance that, even if though I haven't played to the end, I see the balancing act that it's done, and I have to respect, especially since this is a game that came out in the 90s.
Right.
Like this is a remake of a game, so it's like the fact that the original game had this really original concept that I don't really think has been like, the only game I can really say is like similar and funny. You're gonna laugh when I say this.
Oh no.
Like like Sonic Adventure.
Oh,
You-
okay, okay. I thought you were gonna say Final Fantasy X.
no, no. But like, you remember how Sonic Adventure, like you play as Sonic, then you play as Knuckles, then you play as,
Mhm.
it kind of like, that's a similar system. It's obviously not the same,
Right.
but like a lot of games don't do that because that's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And
It is, yeah.
I have to give this game respect. And if anybody wants to give it a 9 out of 10, just off the basis that it is probably the most original thing, the most unique thing somebody might play this year, I gotta respect it.
That's
Because
fair.
it's definitely, I don't think it's gonna be in my top 5, but
It
I'm
might be
curious to see where this ranks at the end of the year for me. Because
right.
I really enjoyed it. If it wasn't for Xenoblade, this game would have been beaten. Curse you, Xenoblade.
Right.
But
I will
you know,
say, I might put this higher than Octopath Traveler. I think I did enjoy it better than
oh,
that.
it's way better than Octopath
Yeah.
Traveler. I'm one of the rare souls that like Octopath Traveler.
Yeah,
But
me
this
too.
game is clearly better than Octopath because it does everything I wanted. Like, if Octopath had this way of like telling its narrative, I would have loved, like, Octopath might
Mhm.
have been flirting with like a 9 out of 10 rating for me.
Yeah, definitely.
But without that, it's like I feel like it's like a 7.5 at best.
I might put it at a 7, but agreed.
Yeah. So, all right, what
Yeah.
else have you been playing, Alfredo? Let's get out of the JRPG business. I think you've
Yes.
been getting scared, right?
Right. I've been getting scared going back to my horror roots. So I finally pulled the trigger a couple weeks ago on the Quarry, Supermassive's new narrative-driven horror game. I play them every Halloween. They used to be doing the anthology horror series. The last one was last October with Ashley Tisdale. I forgot, House of Ashes. That's what it was. I love these games. But they actually came out with a game that's similar to Until Dawn, which is a much longer experience. Like around 8 to 10 hours, somewhere in there is where it's driving for. Much more similar to an Until Dawn experience. I was scared because of pulling the trigger because I didn't know if it was worth the $70 price tag on PS5. So waited for a sale. It got down to 50. Got a coupon for $5. Bought it at 45. So I've been playing this game with my best friend, just making use of PS5's share screen feature and passing the controller to do couch co-op. So we each picked 4 characters and we pass the controller basically, and see how far we can get. And we're usually pretty good at keeping them alive. And I will say the first thing I'll say about this game is that I was surprised how good of a story it is. I thought that this story was just going to be a complete redo over, a complete rerun, no twist at all of with Until Dawn. This one's better. I think because I came in at the bare minimum, I walked away pleasantly surprised. The Quarry does have a lot of good narrative to it. There's a lot of bad narrative too, don't get me wrong, like the cheesy B horror, like, oh, why didn't you take your gun that you just had, or why did you run this specific way, things like that. But through and through, I will say when the narrative comes to starts to come to close toward the end, it does get really good. And there are lots of twists there for you to discover, so enjoyed that. Now the mechanics, so Supermassive has been playing around with their mechanics since they have the anthology. So in Until Dawn, it was a lot of QTE events basically, and you're making decisions. This one reels back on the actual gameplay aspect and more leans into the decision making and how that actually that's more of a forefront than the actual gameplay mechanics. So instead of the QTEs of like, oh, press triangle within this amount of time, press circle, something like that, it gives you like it's only going to be your analog stick up, down, left, or right. That's all your options. So you don't have to guess it. Oh no, here's the circle. Nope. It's only the analog stick. And they give you so much time to actually do the analog stick. So like you will never, ever, ever have an issue like of killing a character by mistake because you press the wrong button, because that's not a thing in this. And they give you so much time to do so. So that kind of sucks because it gives you
I feel like half
it's
the
a step
fun
back.
is if you do something on accident
Right.
and it's like,
And then
oh
they
shit, I killed Tim.
exactly.
So
You won't
yeah,
have an accident like that.
I wish there was like a way you could switch that off.
Yeah. Or make it like have a hard mode, have the prompts to be faster, or bring back the QTEs
Of
instead of
course.
the analogs, because the analogs, they're bad.
Of
Another
course,
thing they
Alfredo wishes for a hard mode in a narrative
hey,
game.
I'm
Like
just saying.
that might be the most Alfredo statement I've ever heard in my life.
Look, I'm just saying I'm playing a horror game to like keep the stakes up. Don't remove the stakes. But all the
Fair
stakes,
enough. Fair
like I
enough.
said, all the stakes are in the actual decision making. So there are some interesting choices where, oh, like if you ran this way, you made a mistake, or if you forgot to do this. They do bring back the cause and effect. That's really, really, really well done here. Where if you made like a simple decision earlier, it might come back to bite you in the butt. Um, I also like how I said, there's twists in this game and there's things that you don't know about. So if you discover something or if you don't discover something, it might lead you toward doing a decision that might be logical, but at the time without that information. But if you know something else with the information that you explore around and find, like then you would make the right decision later, and that might save a character's life. So they really play around with the decision making as making the driving forefront, and I think it works for this one because the story is good, because the story like makes sense, it works out, and there are twists and turns and all that. So all that said, mechanics definitely step back. I hope they'll bring back more of the stuff that they're doing in the anthology, because with House of Ashes, their last game, their like mechanics, chef's kiss. They shouldn't change anything about it. They did the QTEs exactly right. They made like the exploration exactly right. Like they made, and even the shooting, they made it exactly right. This one takes a step back in that regards, but the story is very, very, very enjoyable, very good. It's fun to see all your decisions work out, and even finishing the game now, there are a lot of things that I'm like, oh, like this is a thing, but we never even got a scene with this. Like I know that this is possible, but like we never even ventured down that path. So I definitely want to replay it later to see like all the different paths you can go. And yeah, it was really fun. It's definitely super fun with a friend. So play with that way if you can. But I would say, yeah, it was worth the $50. I would give Supermassive my $50. They earned it.
Before we move on to what I've been playing, I have a question.
Yes.
The Quarry versus Asdust Falls. You got to kill one, you got to marry one. Which
Oh
one? What
no.
you doing? What we
And I see
doing,
Matt
Alfredo?
Bliss also shouting out as dust falls. Oh God. I have to kill one and marry one. Which one would I rather play? Is that the question?
Yeah, I mean, you can answer it that way too. Mine was a lot
God.
more melodramatic, but
Well,
you
they're
know,
so different because one is like a drama and one is like a horror. Ugh. And I have a
isn't horror technically drama?
no, it's not. It's not.
There's a lot of drama
Here,
in
look,
horror, you know.
look. Here's what I'll say. As Dust Falls was a better story. They told the story better,
Mhm.
but but the Quarry was more fun because it had that campy horror to it, and it had those stupid character personalities to it, and I'm a sucker for that, so I got to go with the Quarry. As much as I
Fair enough.
love As Dust Falls, it's like it's just a different feel, and I always tend to lead more toward horror because that's my vibe.
I am hoping that I get this for $20 on Halloween. That's the goal. I feel like that's the sweet spot.
You
That's the sweet
well,
price.
their next game, Supermassive, is coming out in October near Halloween, so you might get it. This might have a price drop around that time. Be on the
Hopefully,
lookout.
I will because I really want to play it. I love Until Dawn. Like I love that game, but I'm not paying
Right.
$70 for the
Yeah.
core. There's no way.
It'll be interesting seeing your experience, and I'm excited to talk about other people who have played this game because I have a feeling there are varying amounts of like scenes and differentiation in this game. Whereas in
Mhm.
Until Dawn, I feel like everybody's experience was pretty much the same. There wasn't that much I didn't feel that much variation in my different playthroughs with that, but this one I can definitely see much more variation.
Yeah,
So yeah,
and we also need to do that spoiler cast for As Dust Falls. It's a necessity.
we will. We
We
will.
will.
Can't say too
Um.
much.
So
What have
yeah.
you been playing, Carlos?
So I have been stuck on Xenoblade. It's taken over my life.
Mhm.
It
Still
has.
game of the year for you?
hasn't changed, hasn't been knocked off.
Nice.
And look, I mean, I have 60 hours to go. So there's plenty of time
Still?
for, I mean, I'm 50 hours in.
Oh
I've
my
been and
gosh.
I've been doing
Okay.
side quests. It's an addiction. I'm sorry. It's every time I am just bored, I pick up my Switch and I get with these characters who I've fallen in love with. Because honestly, that really is the core of why I love it. I love every single party member. There's not a
That's a
weak
testament.
there's not a weak link in the chain.
That's awesome.
Even the characters who like almost you're designed to not like, I love them. I love them. There's this
You love a
dude named
good
yeah,
antagonist.
he's not even an antagonist. Like he's just a hard ass. Like this dude
Right,
named
right.
Talion. Like he is the hard ass of the group. But he's the most logical one in the whole group. And he's the one who be saying the things that make the most sense. So I'm
Mhm.
like, I respect you, even though you are saying unpopular things. I get where you're coming from. You have the brute of the squad named Lance, and he says stupid shit, but he's a warrior. He's
Classic
a
anime tropes.
right, but he's a warrior and he says funny stuff too. So I'm like, all right, cool. I'm good with you too. Every single character I've interacted with has had at least a pretty like compelling backstory.
Okay.
I mean, hell, they got 100 hours to flesh out all these backstories,
Right.
so but they do a good job. And I can speak praises of it all day, but it's still my game of the year.
Nice. Who's your
We
favorite character?
My favorite character would probably be Noah, who is the main character.
Okay.
They really did the main character right. He feels like if Link had a voice. Like
Huh.
that's the vibe he goes for. And I'm like, that's a good template to follow.
Mhm.
And because he's not like super compelling per se, but he is, he has a personality. It's not like he's just like wooden like Link. He has a
Right.
personality. He's kind of soft spoken, but he's the leader of the team and everybody looks up to him.
Okay. I'm just
And
glad they didn't go the silent protagonist route.
I am glad. I mean, I don't think they've ever done that.
Mhm.
Even like I
I mean,
remember,
in Xenoblade,
yeah,
some Live, they kind of went that route with like the final chapter, and I was like, why? Just why? But they bring his voice in later. It's weird. Anyway, carry on.
Oh, also anybody who plays Xenoblade, for the love of God, switch it. Switch the voice. Switch it Japanese. It's the best decision. It's like playing an anime. I don't know. Something about the European voices they use throws me off. It's just like I feel like that's what threw me off of Xenoblade 2.
Oh, and they didn't even have Japanese voices, did they?
They eventually
Optionally.
added that in DLC.
Okay.
But I remember that was the first thing I looked for when I got that game. I was like, can I switch the voices? And I'm like, nope. Oh, you hear, I got a good rhythm going. And I'm like, oh no, this is not good.
You
I'm
don't
not
like that?
enjoying myself. No. But now it's an option in all 3 games. So God
Nice.
help me if I go through Xenoblade 1 and 2. That might be the rest of my life right there, y'all. But
You're
yeah,
hooked. They got you.
they got me. And it's telling that the 3rd game did that.
Mm.
And then the other game I've been playing is Dragon Ball Fighter Z, because I not rediscovered Dragon Ball, because I've always been a Dragon Ball fan. It's always been like, it's never been my favorite anime, but like maybe when I was a kid, but ever since I've really been cognizant of anime, it's never been my favorite.
Okay.
But
As
I
he has a
love this
Dragon Ball
series.
poster right behind him.
And honestly, you can't even see how dope this poster is, because it's like a little holographic one. So it like goes from Goku to Vegeta if you move got it for $5 in the mall.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, I'm a big Dragon Ball fan, and I saw the movie and I was like, I want some more Dragon Ball, and so I tried watching some old episodes. Wasn't hitting. I don't know what it was, but they weren't hitting. And so I was like, you know what? I have Fighter Z on PlayStation. I have it on Switch. Let me try it again. And I'm probably about 50 matches deep in online.
Okay. So
Yeah,
you loving it.
I love this game. I loved it when it first came out, but I kind of like stepped off it because I'm not the fighting game person.
Mhm.
Like, that's not me, especially when it comes to 2D fighters. Like I'm just not. I feel like that requires like a different level of muscle memory
Yeah.
than what my muscles are capable of.
Oh, for sure. Talk about hard mode. Fighting games? Nope. That's the one thing I cannot do hard mode on. I'll play the story mode, but I cannot do a
I
hard
love
mode
fighting
if they
game
even
stories
have one.
actually, because
I love them too. I
they're
just can't do
basically
a hard mode.
animes. If you
Yeah.
really like, I can't think of a fighter that isn't like Japanese like based.
Right. Right.
So they're all basically like animes. So I love fighting game stories, but yeah, when it comes to like going through the towers and stuff in
Mm-hmm.
most of these games, that's where the line gets drawn for me.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I want to get good at this one because it's Dragon Ball.
Right.
And this is probably the most anime looking video game in terms of like this looks like an actual every fight looks like an episode of Dragon Ball Z.
That's awesome.
And so yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites of the I think it came out 2018. Definitely probably in my top 5 of that year.
Okay.
Just a great game. I'm probably going to be playing it throughout the rest of the year, just every here and there, just because I have it on my Switch. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing this week. I plan
Nice.
on playing some stuff this week, but we'll get to that next week because we
Nice.
have a lot of fucking topics. Let's get to our first one, which Saints Row just failed, basically, right? That's the best way to put it.
Wow, you're just coming out and saying that. I
I
wouldn't
mean,
say they failed per
so
se.
I'm on Open Critic, 67. Not good.
Not great. Not great.
Not good. Right under it, Tinykin scored an 84. I don't know what that
That's how
is.
it. Oh, I'm looking forward to that. It's the Pikmin game that is, the
Oh,
clone, the
okay.
Pikmin clone.
It's
But
called
anyway,
Tinykin?
yeah.
Nintendo,
Yeah.
get your lawyers ready. Come on now. Like that's come on, Nintendo. Like
But anyway,
I'm usually not for the Nintendo lawyers, but come on now.
yeah, it looks exactly like it. I'm gonna play it. It's coming to Game Pass. But anyway, Saints Row. I was looking forward to this game. I was the
You made a
one who
character and
was.
everything.
What'd you say?
You made a character and everything.
Yeah, I played Boss Factory, downloaded the demo, made a character. I was ready. All the dukes were like, "This is gonna fail," and I convinced them it wasn't. Some of them that it wasn't, and they were right. It failed big. It's got a 67 or whatever that you're saying. Probably lower a Metacritic too.
Probably. Matt Bliss in the chat sums it up in a sentence. Too much hype in front of a casual audience. I think that is a good summary. I think that if this game was not as hyped and received as much press as it did, I don't think it would be looked at as a failure. But because there was a lot of hype and marketing involved in this, it's the return of, I wouldn't say one of gaming's biggest franchises, but a big gaming franchise.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Saints Row used to be huge, like, right? Not like obviously on the level of Grand Theft Auto, but it was like known as like, oh, the whimsical Grand Theft Auto, like the one with more personality, I get, or a sillier personality, let's say, because Grand Theft Auto has a big personality,
I mean,
right?
how I've always looked at Saints Row is it's the game you get when you're in the middle of Grand Theft Auto releases. And I feel like, and
Which we are.
I might be wrong about this, but I feel like every single Saints Row has come out like between like Grand Theft Auto releases.
Yeah, but
I don't think they ever want to compete directly with Grand Theft Auto.
Oh yeah, no, they will lose that battle. But I will say that they used to be great games. They before four was the first one that was super well not received. The one that everyone was like, we don't want this. And then they took what, a 9-year break, and now they're back, and it seems like they should have stayed. They should have stayed away for a couple more years.
Alfredo, I'm gonna need your definition of what a great game is. Like, are we like, what is a great? Are you saying that a Saints Row game was anything above like a 3 out of 5? Like any one of
I would definitely give, starting with Saints Row 2, I would start giving them like a 4 out of 5. They were never a 5 out of 5.
I would say Saints Row 2 is probably the pinnacle of the franchise.
Okay,
I
but
feel
you're
like
talking.
that's the one that everybody like, because I remember that came out on 360 and place. I think it was only on 360 for a while.
Yeah, it was. Yep.
Yeah. So like that came out and that got a good amount of hype around it. And it was seen because I don't even remember the original Saints Row. I don't even know. Like if
Yeah.
you had told me
Oof,
Saints Row one never
it's been a
existed, I probably believe
while.
you. I don't even know what that. I don't even know what system that came out for. But Saints Row 2 is the one where I feel like it got pushed into the mainstream. Saints Row the third was, I mean, I don't remember that game. You probably be better than me, but I don't remember it
Yeah,
blowing up
I
the
played
world.
it. I played these games when they were off the radar. I played it like when Saints Row 4 came out, like it was after that came out that I started getting into Saints Row. I would say it was a good 3 years after, maybe
Oh.
2 years after that one came out.
I
So
played
I
Saints
started
Row
playing
4 at
all of them.
release. I bought it at release.
Yeah.
And yeah,
And I was
I didn't
someone
like it. I was like, I'm a superhero.
I
Like
liked it. I was the one person who liked that game.
it was more than just you. It was, I mean, I think it had good sales. I think that it sold well, but I don't think that it like aged well. And I
Yeah.
think they knew they had to go back to the drawing board. Now, just because you go back to the drawing board does not mean you're going to come out with great results.
I really
And
thought it was though. Cuz based off of
as
what I
I'm
saw,
look,
it looked like what I wanted.
just from gunplay alone, like I was looking at all the gunplay clips, and I'm literally sitting there like, how can you have worse gunplay than Watch Dogs? Like
Don't do Watch Dogs like Watch
I'm not even
Dogs
trying to do
Legion's
I'm not
pretty
trying to do
good.
Watch Dogs dirty because I really like Watch Dogs too, but gunplay is not one of the pinnacle features of those
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
And you
It's the
have
hack.
worse gunplay than Watch Dogs 1 and 2, and you like you're like there's a lot of issues, a lot of bugs with the game too.
Mhm.
On top of that, plus the story is apparently trash. Which I mean, I guess that's something. That's the one thing I think everybody kind of like was ready for.
Right, right, yeah.
That's the
And
one thing that I feel like if the story was bad, but everything else was fine, we forgive it.
but you forgot one thing, Thomas. They're also charging $70 for this game.
Is it next gen only?
I know. I think it is previous gen as well. I'm about to do a fact check on that, but I know
Is the
for a
PC
fact that.
version 70? I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check Steam.
Ooh, that's a great question. I know definitely the PS5 version, $70 right there. I'm not too sure about all the other versions, but it's still is it.
Is it
This is a
not?
game that definitely should not be trying to take advantage of the $70 price tag.
I mean, look, every game's gonna try to,
I
right?
know they really are, but this is also a game, according to the reviews, that are going to come out at in the bargain bin in $20 in like a couple weeks. So because of how poorly it's doing.
You want to place a bet? How long do you think it's gonna take to get to $20? I'm guessing
Yeah.
3 months. What are you putting your money on?
3 months, I would say. Okay,
Like by October, I'm sorry, by
I would say
November.
less than that.
By
I would say
November,
two
it's gonna be
months. I'll say 2 months.
2 months. Because I feel like it's not gonna go below 20 before Black Friday.
Yeah, yeah, in October. That's about 2 months. Yeah, right. No, that Black Friday is November. Anyway,
Yeah, so
I'll
that's what
I'll
I'm
give
saying.
it two
I
months.
feel like November is where we're gonna get that $20 price reduction, and it's never gonna go up from there.
That's fair.
This is gonna stay there.
Oh, I think this game also has local or online co-op that you can do, but so you can play it like
Good
that.
for the friends who want to play this game. Good
Hey,
for
I'm just
y'all.
saying, when this game does go on sale for $20, I'll probably be picking it up because I like Saints Row, but it's also kind of disappointing because Volition, the developers, the publisher of this game, Deep Silver Volition,
Mhm.
they haven't had a good game since like Saints Row 3. Because what? After that, they had Saints Row 4, which was not well received. I love that game. Then they had like the superhero mashup,
The mayhem something.
Agents of Mayhem. Yeah.
Yeah, that was
They
bad.
had the first person like Overwatch clone that didn't go well either. They just have been, it's been rough for them.
Let's before we leave this topic, should we retire Saints Row? Is it time?
I really don't want them to, but ask me this question in 2 months after I get to play it. for the price of $20. Maybe it'll come in Game Pass.
I'm going out on a limb. It's time. It's
I
time.
think
I don't think every franchise, like, we're not bringing back GoldenEye. We don't need all these franchises getting reboots. We just don't. The gaming space is only so big. It's time. Let's bury it. Get our shovels. Put Saints Row in. It had a great run. Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to come out, and we're going to forget this thing ever happened.
We're moving on. Going to forget all about this ever happening.
You know, we remember Saints Row putting up a valiant effort to try to compete with Grand Theft Auto. Respected. You're dead. It's time to move on.
That's fair. That's fair. You had your time. Just move on. And
shout out Saints Row 2, though. I'm not gonna go with you and say it's a great game, because
it's a great game.
Great is a strong word, Alfredo.
I don't think it's not like I'm saying it's a masterpiece. I said it's a great game.
Like, Alfredo, Final Fantasy 9 is a great game.
No,
like Saints Row
Final
2
Fantasy 9 is a masterpiece. So let's
okay, all right.
Let's be factual.
I believe most Final Fantasies are masterpieces, so I can't disagree there.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, that's when I think great games, I think on that tier. I'm not like, I can't, like, Saints Row 2. I remember when it came out, and it was was a cool change of pace.
Look, I said it was a great game. If you played it now, no, it's not going to be a great game now.
I thought about buying it because it was on Epic. It was on the Epic Game Store for like $1. I was like,
$1. You should have did it.
I should have. I was like, I can get a large fry from McDonald's with this coupon.
You cannot get no large fry for $1.
Oh, you need to get the McDonald's app. Like, you're slacking. The McDonald's app.
I didn't know you could do that.
I don't like any. This is off topic a little bit. I hate McDonald's. I worked there for a little bit. I hate it because I know what the food looks like before they make it. But the fries are always amazing. I don't know what it is.
It depends on the location. The location near me is bad. I like Wendy's fries more personally.
I'm like, it's obviously subjective. Like, I feel like fry taste is subjective, of course.
Yes.
But I feel like McDonald's at the very minimum, most people can agree, has good fries.
Yes, it does.
And
now you're making me want fries.
Hey, McDonald's always open. McDonald's always open.
Are they 24 hours? We got to stop. I'll think about this after.
All right.
What's our next story?
Our next story is a story that is near and dear to my heart from a depression standpoint, because Hogwarts Legacy has been officially delayed. My heart is in shambles for so many different reasons, Alfredo. I want to tell you.
I'm right there with you.
First off, this probably was the death knell to my fantasy bid, like, comeback. Like, this is probably the one. This is probably the blow. Like, do you watch basketball at all?
A little bit.
So, like, when, like, let's say, like, it's like a minute left, one team's up 3, it's like, okay, the other team has a chance, and then Steph Curry comes and hits another 3, up 6, and that's what we call the dagger. This was probably the dagger, because I don't know what game I can replace it with. I'm so sad. This was the one that I'm like, if this score is like an 85, this might put me at the top at the end and break hearts.
Look, you still have a chance. It's delayed till next year, and we got a date. February 10th. It's coming out for sure.
Well, I'm saying from a fantasy draft standpoint.
Right. You're done. You're done there.
It's done. Alfredo won.
But you can get it. We'll see. You can
Alfredo. Just to give a quick recap on the fantasy draft. Alfredo is doing so well based on the fact that Alfredo picked very strategically games that were definitely coming out.
Hey, I got like 2 games that were or 3. I think it was up to 3 that recently said they delayed it. So, like, Midnight Suns was delayed. There was another game that Sea of Stars was delayed, and something else. So I had to replace those. But we might be okay. We'll see.
You're fine. I've calculated what it would take for me to win, and it's too much. Numbers. Ben has too many games he didn't replace on his fantasy that have been delayed, so he's pretty much out. Yes. And Cole didn't even fill in his list fully, and he has Elden. And him having Elden Ring is the only thing that has kept him so afloat, because that gave him the most points out of anybody.
Yep.
for any
Hey,
single game. So
all I'll say is that a win by default is still a win. So I'll
I
take
agree.
it.
I want that win by default. So,
But
but
yeah,
let's
I
get to the actual game.
yes, Hogwarts Legacy. I think both me and you were for sure that this game was going to come out because when we think of Harry Potter, we think of like holiday December time. Like they would, I feel like they would capitalize so much on actually releasing holiday season. Everyone would be getting their kid a copy of this game, just like
Mhm.
the parents who's not even
The
into video games.
the
Oh,
problem
Harry Potter
the
video
problem
game.
Alfredo is you're right, but you're also wrong because yes, there are gonna be kids who are gonna be like, mom, buy this, but they're gonna do the same thing in February. They do the exact same
That's
thing in
true.
February.
Harry
Like,
Potter fans are rabid.
right. Even the kid
Right.
fans, like it's gonna be mom Harry Potter, like, but Christmas already passed. Mom Harry Potter. So
Get
it's
with it.
not gonna be it's they made the calculation that the amount of extra sales we're gonna get at
Mhm.
Christmas is not worth us releasing an almost finished game.
Right, right.
And if this leads to the game going from almost great to great, then by all means. Also,
Of
if it
course.
means that the workers who are working on the game are able to work balance hours as opposed to crunching,
Right.
I'm good with it too. So, there really wasn't any specifics as far as I could see of why it was delayed.
I believe they just said to make it the most,
Right.
the best
Yeah,
game
that's what I'm saying.
possible.
It was real
But
generic.
but I believe that like the fact of the matter is that this is only delayed really for 2 months cuz we
Right.
were expecting like a holiday release, so probably around December.
I mean, truth
So
be told, they're still like in the holiday window. So
right.
it's
So like they didn't delay it that much. So that tells us a lot. That tells us like they're pretty confident that this is a great game and 2 months really tells us that this is like some sort of quality of life improvement. So probably just like time to polish up bugs and
bugs and
stuff like
everything.
that.
Yeah.
I think I also heard that they're doing in addition to bugs, they're focusing on graphics improvements at the last minute. So I think just those two, making it look as pretty as possible, just putting finishing touches on it. What's also interesting about this is that they said that the official release date is February 10th, but Nintendo Switch specifically will come at a later date. So we'll see
God
what happens
bless.
there.
God bless.
We'll see.
I mean, look, I don't think the game, I'm not looking for this game to be a graphical showcase, anyways.
I mean, it looked pretty good when we saw it, though,
I
when
mean,
they
I feel
did show it
like
off.
I'm not saying it's like 1-to-1 or anything, but like Dragon Ball Fighters is a game that looks incredible, but it runs on last gen, runs on current gen, looks really well, and runs on Switch.
Mhm.
That's one game. There are other games that have straddled the line. Now, I also don't know whether this is going to be a cloud version or not. Like they still
Right.
have been mum on that. So, and there are a lot of games like Plague's Tale, Control, Guardians of the Galaxy, Kingdom Hearts. Like these games have come out on the cloud
Kingdom
version.
Hearts. How?
the
How it
graphical,
Kingdom
the
Hearts
graphical
really
powerhouse of Kingdom Hearts.
still cannot get over that. Crazy.
I don't know what the fuck was that. I don't know why they did that. But overall, I think honestly it was because they were so hyped about getting Sora in the game. They're like, we need to get these Kingdom Hearts games on. How long
Mhm.
will it take?
Mhm. Get
About
them
a
on there.
year and a half. They're like about a year and a half. How much for cloud though? About 2 months. There
Right.
we go. Like that, I feel like that was the
Put it on
exact
there.
conversation.
It checks out.
And
It
I
checks out.
I feel like that it had to have sold well too. I feel like the
Oh,
world's
yeah.
not
Kingdom
right.
Hearts?
That game definitely sold well on Switch. It definitely
Yes, it
did.
did. I would do it, but I refuse to buy digital games. I buy physical copies only. There's exceptions to that rule, obviously, with Steam and all, but by and large.
Alfredo, if you buy that cloud edition, I will come to Georgia and I will delete it off your Switch
I'm not
myself.
gonna buy that cloud version. Now, physical version.
You Kingdom Hearts fans would do the craziest things for love.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this game still. My anticipation for it hasn't changed. I'm disappointed for selfish reasons, but a good game is going to be a good game whether it comes out in December, whether it comes out in February.
Right.
In terms of like it doesn't matter when it comes out, just come out and be polished. That's all I ask, especially a game with this much expectation.
Yeah, I completely agree. We'll be ready to go to House Slytherin for life, when the game comes out, and yeah, it'll be great.
All right, Malfoy. We'll
You're a hater.
Now I don't have a good, cool transition for this one, but I'm just, I'm just shocked that we are actually getting Death Stranding coming to Xbox in some form, not
Right.
console, but
Makes
we
sense.
are getting it for PC. And that's coming out on August 23rd. So tomorrow, as we're recording this on the 22nd, I'm going to try this out on PC. I don't know, I've liked it on PlayStation 5. It looks amazing, but I feel like playing it on PC would just be a different experience.
Well, there's like two caveats with this, right? Because actually, Death Stranding has been available on PC
Right. It's been on
since like
Steam
what,
for a while.
May or March or something.
It's been
But
on Steam and Epic, I
right,
think, for a while, yeah.
yeah, but now it's finally coming to Xbox Game Pass for PC, so it's free in quotes, free-ish.
It's
So that's cool.
free
And
for
it's
me.
right, and it's only going to be. It's not the director's cut though, so you don't get all the
Oh,
goodies or anything like.
are you
Yep.
serious?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that
So you
changes
don't get
things.
the goodies. You don't get all the goodies that all the PlayStation family gets. I don't know what the Steam version is. I assume it is the director's cut, but this
Yeah,
is
it is.
not
The
the
Steam version is
director's.
director. I gotta ask our Death Stranding aficionado Ben what those differences are. Like,
Yep.
because I don't know then. Because I mean, if I have the director's cut version just on PlayStation Plus, so
I don't
man.
think it matters too much, right?
Well, I will say the haptics on the director's cut is really good. Like
Okay.
the sense feels.
Yeah,
Like
but on PC though, like you don't get that anyway. There's no
I
haptic
don't know about
controller.
that. PC like hooks up with the DualSense pretty well. I heard the
Oh, does
DualSense
it?
works really well with Spider-Man Remastered
Didn't know
on
that.
PC.
Okay.
I thought PlayStation's really stepped their game up with making that controller really compatible with a lot of PC games and
Interesting.
utilizing features. So
Good to know.
yeah.
I think the big story about this is obviously like this is the first time that Death Stranding or something Kojima is coming to Xbox technically. Even though it's not on the console, it still counts because it's on Xbox's platform, their Game Pass. And Matt is telling us that maybe it's some sort of marketing push because we do know that Xbox there's been rumors saying that Kojima Productions' new game is actually going to be exclusive to Xbox. So maybe this is just a little bit more solidifying that union between Xbox and Kojima, getting a little bit away from PlayStation. We'll see.
But wait, does he have a PlayStation game in the works too?
I think that's the rumor. The rumor is he has both.
No, I
But
think
the
it's an
first one
actual
is supposed
thing.
to
I
be
think it's an
Xbox.
actual thing. He has a PlayStation. I feel like I remember that.
Well, he definitely has an Xbox One for sure.
I think he definitely has both. Like
Maybe.
honestly, I think we're to the point where I think we need a Kojima like press conference. Because
let's not get carried away.
No, I don't think we're getting carried away. I think that you could have Kojima talk about his PlayStation game, then he could talk about his Xbox game,
We
then
have to pull
he'll announce his Switch exclusive game.
Oh my no.
And then we're gonna talk about the Metal Gear movie with Oscar Isaac. Oscar Isaac's gonna come out. Kojima can have a whole press conference, and I would definitely watch the whole.
Like I can see it.
And you know what? That press conference is definitely gonna be at least 3 hours because Kojima.
You're right. It would
be.
And it would have so many guest appearances.
Oh my god, we're gonna get Norman Reedus. We're definitely getting Norman Reedus.
Everyone.
Oh, Death Stranding 2. That's the PlayStation game. Yeah.
Right. We knew that.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Death Stranding 2, and then
he definitely the PlayStation game. Yeah, Death Stranding 2. Yeah. So and honestly, would Death Stranding 2 be PC day one? Maybe. I feel like that's a possibility because PlayStation. I feel like PlayStation is slowly eking in that direction.
I don't think they're ever gonna do like a day one on PC because they want you to get into the PlayStation ecosystem first, and then once they have a sequel ready, they'll start putting the first one. That's what we've seen every single time. Horizon, God of War, Spider-Man. Spider-Man is a little bit more far off, but we know the sequel's coming, right? So,
well, that's definitely no. Those games are not going to be PC day one. No.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not saying that. I'm saying Death Stranding is it's almost I'm not it's because it's not a first party game, right? It's second party theoretically, right? I don't
Death
think
Stranding,
because
yeah,
Kojima is not a first party PlayStation developer,
right
so it's a second party kind of thing. So I feel
situation.
like in like Death Stranding is a unique situation where I think Kojima could leverage like Sony, like, yeah, you want to be like focused on PC, right? Like, let's release this on PC and PlayStation 5 day one.
Hmm.
I think that could be compelling, especially since like Death Stranding has gotten this PC push
Yeah,
more
I can
than
see
I feel
it.
like the only other game that's gotten a bigger one is God of War.
Oh yeah. Well,
God of War is
definitely
probably
Spider-Man. Spider-Man's PC push was pretty big.
yeah, or it's just Spider Man's a little early still,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, I feel
They're
like
getting
Spider
the
Man
speed.
is getting nearer to that for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah,
yeah. It'll be interesting. I have a feeling we won't have to wait too much longer. Maybe we'll see something at Gamescom. Probably not.
well, speaking of not waiting too much longer, on September 8th, we do have a Marvel Disney showcase at D23.
Okay, okay.
And I feel this could be very interesting because I've always liked D23 because I like Marvel. And
Hmm.
so they always do a really good job. Like they either show the phases of the Marvel movies at
Yep.
D23 or they show it at Comic-Con.
Hmm.
This year they showed it at Comic-Con. So I'm curious what they're going to show at D23 from that perspective. But just from a gaming perspective, like there is a lot that they can show off. But at the same time, I don't think they're going to show off anything crazy.
I it's going to be interesting because like things that I thought that it would show off have kind of been announced. So like take for example Avengers, which the live service game that nobody plays anymore. Like they've recently announced that the next hero is going to be the Winter Soldier already ahead of this Marvel game showcase, and they're bringing like the cloning labs, which is kind of like a dungeon and raiding kind of thing. That's what's coming to Avengers. So I'm sure they'll show that off a little bit more there.
Mhm.
We know that a big thing recently has been their Stardew Valley clone, which is, I forget what they call it, but Disney has like a Stardew Valley clone. So I'm sure they're going to show that. Aside from that, I don't know what would be at this game showcase, to be honest, because we have Spider Man, but I figured they would want that to be shown off at some sort of Sony press conference, but I
Now,
don't
and
know.
Matt in the chat, are you saying Spider-Man 2 or Spider-Man for PC?
Oh, as like showing off. I feel like Spider-Man 2
I don't
they
think they're
would
showing Spider-Man.
definitely show at a gamer conference, so not
I don't think I
D23.
don't think Sony would even let them do that.
Right. It's a
Like
different
I don't think
vibe.
that's not. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I agree with Matt. Yes, they're gonna show off some more Spider-Man for PC.
Okay.
At
Which is
least
already
market
out.
it. It's already out, but I feel like they're gonna have like some little thing about it.
Mhm.
Hell, they might even show mods.
Ooh,
Because
probably.
honestly, because like
The mods are the best part though.
Disney could theoretically show like mods for their own copyrighted characters,
Right.
couldn't
They
they?
could
Like
put like Wreck-It Ralph.
I like if honestly,
Graphics.
I would super enjoy that. If they had like the
Put
Disney
put
like pantheon.
Rapunzel
Yeah, like you
swinging
put
with her
Rapunzel, you
hair.
put Elsa, Elsa,
Yeah.
Elsa swinging frozen. What like if they were real, they would do that.
They aren't gonna do that.
They're not
They're
gonna
too
definitely not
scared.
gonna do that. But
They're not
Jesus, is
brave
that
enough.
not a good idea? And it
It's a
wouldn't
great
even be
idea.
bad.
They should hire us
And
immediately.
Matt in the chat says Wolverine. I don't think they're showing that either. Like that.
Yeah, that's a gamer game.
I don't think it's a gamer
Maybe
game. I think it's way too far. And I don't think
it
that this
is.
is the conference to show that at. I think what they're going to show, they're going to show off that farm that what is it? Not
The
farm.
Stardew Valley
The
thing.
Stardew
Yeah.
Valley Animal Crossing type game with the
Mhm.
princesses. And
Yep.
honestly, I'm not gonna hold you. That game does not look that bad. Like I was
Yeah,
watching
I'm
gameplay,
gonna
and I was
play
like,
it. It's free to play. I'm gonna play
yeah,
it.
I'm going
I'm
to at
gonna dip
least
my
try it
toe
out because it
somewhere.
actually looked interesting. I
Yeah.
might try it out for like an hour and see if I like it.
Yeah.
So they're definitely, I feel like that's gonna be a lot of that
Main
the
focus.
conference. They're gonna show off Midnight Suns.
Yep.
They're going to show Star Wars. They're gonna. I feel like Star Wars is open season, right?
That's a great question. I really don't know because
Uh,
it's Disney, specifically in the title Disney Marvel, and I feel like they would say Star Wars in there because Star Wars, it's not exactly Disney. I mean,
it
it
is this.
obviously
It is
is,
Disney.
but I don't know. I feel like that would warrant another slash, right? Like
Well, I
slash
think
Star
that
Wars.
right now there are a lot of Star Wars games in development, but there are a lot of Star Wars games in turmoil too. Like as Matt in the chat just says, KOTOR.
Mhm.
KOTOR, we're not seeing that game for a long time.
Right.
I'll probably have kids. You'll probably have kids. Like it's gonna be a while until we see that game.
You know what we might see though? The rumor that Black Panther, the open world game, is coming
Yeah,
out.
I can see them doing like how they did Star
Some
Wars
sort of
Eclipse. Like they're gonna
yeah,
have
some
some teaser trailer with no gameplay. I
exactly.
can see that.
Yep.
I think they're definitely gonna. I feel like Star Wars is gonna be here. I feel like you're gonna show off the what's it called, Jedi Fallen Survivor,
I
Jedi
wouldn't
Survivor.
be
I'm sorry,
mad.
Jedi Survivor,
Yeah.
because that's close.
Right.
Yep, and Matt also I was about to say it too. Amy Henning's Star Wars game that's probably going to get shown in a some form or fashion, whether it's a
Mhm.
teaser or not. Avatar is probably going to be there
I
too.
think we'll see gameplay for that one. I think we will
Maybe
for Amy Hennig's Star Wars
has
game
it
because
been in development long enough?
it's been a long time. I feel like
Has it
it's
only
been
been
like
like
3
2
or 4
years?
years. Oh, I thought it
Okay,
was
maybe
3 or
maybe
4.
you might be right.
We'll
I'm
see.
probably wrong about that. Okay.
I think we'll see it.
And then they're going to show Avatar.
You
We haven't seen
think
game.
finally?
I mean, it got delayed, but it's been delayed to like I think spring of next year.
Mhm.
So at some point we're gonna have to see gameplay. So
That'd
I
be
think it's the
nice.
perfect time for it.
Okay.
So because also they're about to ramp up marketing for the movie.
Right.
So I feel like this is perfect time to show gameplay of what this game's gonna look like. I'm anticipating this game because it's made by Massive, and
Oh, I
they
forgot about that.
so I mean, and they're a great studio. They made the Division games, so I'm curious what it's gonna look like.
Mhm.
And then I'm pretty sure that's like there gonna be some surprises there for
Yeah,
sure.
I think the surprise will be the Amy Hennig game and the Black Panther teaser. But those have been leaked. We know those are in development.
And I think that's a good prediction, Matt. I'm gonna go the opposite prediction. Because Matt in the chat says we will see a short teaser for Jedi Survivor and 20 minutes of development interviews about it. I think that is the cynical way to look at it, and I don't blame you. I think we're going to see a at least 10-minute gameplay. I feel
Yeah,
like
I
this
can
is
see
going
that.
to be the last thing they show.
Yeah, it's the most hype thing.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be
Everyone,
yeah.
the first one was amazing. Everyone wants the second one, and it's been long enough that everyone's expecting it.
And it's the only one that's like we know that game is most likely not getting delayed.
Mhm.
And that game pretty much seems to be ready. All the other games that we mentioned don't seem anywhere near ready.
Yeah,
And so I think that this probably is our best bet. And I have a mosquito literally flying in my
I do
face.
too.
He died.
Mine's like a fruit fly or
Oh my
something.
gosh, he's really trying to get me. Oh my gosh. But
Twinsies.
yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I don't think that this is going to be a world renowned like ceremony. I think it's just going to be, Disney at their marketing best, just, promoting all the games they have in the pot. We're going to get too much Avengers footage. That's the one thing I know for sure.
We will. I really wish I could say, "Oh, they're going to show some Kingdom Hearts stuff in here," but they won't. They won't. They're
Honestly,
Square Enix
Alfredo, I don't
really.
think that's out the realm. I don't think
I
that
do.
I feel like that's fair game. I feel like we might see a world here. I can see that.
Oh, that would make my day. That would make my day. I don't think it's going to happen, but I think Square Enix is going to save it.
You
So
want
we'll
to
see.
you want to get me hype? You want to
What
get me
world you
hype,
want to see?
Alfredo? End this conference with a Kingdom Hearts trailer of them on the
Star
Death
Wars.
Star.
Yeah.
Like if you
That'd
do
be good.
that,
That'd be a
I'm
good transition
in.
too into the Star Wars stuff. Then show
I'm
Jedi Fallen Survivor, all of that.
I'm in. If you because they already kind of teased it in the like the original teaser.
Mhm.
If you do that, because that it'd be perfect. It would be absolutely the best. That would be what this like showcase is made for.
Mhm.
If you want to really knock this showcase out the park, like you gotta have some. Even though Jedi Survivor, that could be a potential game of the year next year.
Oh yeah. Hopefully it
but
doesn't
we
get
all are
swiped
expecting
again.
it.
Right. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Mapless is talking about some mobile games. I'm sure there'll be plenty of the mobile love
Yeah,
at this
yeah.
conference, unfortunately. But hopefully there'll be happy surprises.
Hopefully some
Hopefully
things
they'll
that
be
we
good.
like.
Right, right.
That's what I'm
Not just for
hoping
the
for.
kids.
But hope is for the hopeless. Is that the quote?
Looking forward to it. And we only have to wait like what? 2 weeks? 3 tops? Coming up
Yeah, I think
pretty
it's
soon.
like two. It's like yes, 2 weeks.
Nice.
Yeah, so
I'm very excited.
it will be here before we know it. Just like how things get bought before we know it.
Whew.
And Embracer has pulled off. And I know the headline says they only bought Lord of the Rings. They bought a lot of shit.
But
They went
mainly
on
Lord of the Rings.
mainly Lord of the Rings, but they went on a buying spree. The main was Lord of the Rings, but they also bought a lot of smaller studios as well. I'm gonna see if I can find an article, see which studios those were.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they like, and I thought they only bought like Lord of the Rings, like the video game rights, because they're a video game company.
They
The
bought the
only thing
whole
they
thing.
not the whole thing. They
Well,
about the
not the
whole
books. They
no,
bought
because
like all the like movie rights and
movie
licensing rights,
rights,
basically.
gaming rights,
Mhm.
merchandising, and I feel like they got it for less than $1 billion.
Something like I heard 2 billion, but still,
I don't
that
think
seems
it's. I
pretty
think it was
low for
less than
Lord.
that. I'm like, I was really like shocked that they
It
like. I
they
mean,
got a
it's a
deal.
great buy,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I'm not the biggest. Like I've seen all the Lord of the Rings movies.
Yeah,
Um,
but Thomas, have you played the Lord of the Rings games though? I'm not talking about Shadow of Mordor. I'm talking about like the PS2,
I played
Lord,
Return of the King.
Return of the King, the
Mhm.
Two Towers,
They were cool
even
little beat 'em
the
ups. They were cool beat 'em ups with the in-game footage. I like those
what about
games.
the RPG though? Did you play? I think it was something called
Conquest or
like
something like that.
it was like no, it was like the Third Age or something like that. It was
Never played
literally
that.
a JRPG. It
Mm.
was good. It
What
was a
system
good
was it
game.
on?
PS2. It was a
Really?
good game.
I might have to see if I can find a copy.
It was great. You wouldn't be disappointed. It was very fun.
And it's
Turn based.
like it's during the third age, so it's not anywhere where the movies are. Okay,
Right. It's like turn based. It's like turn based RPG combat. It was really
interesting.
good.
I'm sure that
I
game is
got
lost to
that
time, but I'll find a way to find it.
I got that at Blockbuster on like one of my trips, played it the whole way through. Great
Yeah, I
experience.
mean,
Anyway,
I think that this is a interesting acquisition. I can't say whether it's positive or negative because the Lord of the Rings show has not come out yet and is already hated by the masses.
oh really? Oh, because of the changes. I thought people were excited about it.
There is a certain segment of people that are excited. I am in the middle because I will say, I will keep it from being political, but I will say Lord of the Rings was written in, I believe, 19 like 20 something, if I remember correctly.
Really?
Let me
I
look.
literally
Let
have no
me make
idea.
sure I'm correct. The Hobbit would be the first one. I'm sorry, I was wrong. 1954.
Okay.
1954 through 1955. But when did The Hobbit come out? That was a little before.
Hey, I'm just saying, like, I feel like this show is the one thing that can rival Lord of the Rings. The show is the one thing that can rival Game of Thrones, House of the Dragon.
Oh, but I was saying I was getting my point. So, like, The Hobbit was written in 1937.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was written in a different time. So all the characters, for the most part, are pretty much one skin complexion.
Mm-hmm.
Just how it was written.
Okay.
And so that's why a lot of people are upset because they're seeing
Oh,
multiple,
interesting.
multiple like races represented. I don't have a problem with that. The problem that I have is that Amazon is not able to adapt certain things because they don't have the rights to it. And so
Oh,
they're basically creating a new story.
okay. I don't think anything is inherently bad with that. We don't want
Nothing's
the same
bad.
story over and over again. Just
Well,
why can't you
nothing's
create something new?
nothing's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying I'm going into it like with trepidation. It's not saying
I
I
got
think
you.
it's gonna be bad, but
Okay.
but this could easily just turn into fan fiction.
Right.
You know, that's the line. Now I haven't seen it yet, so I'm gonna hold out hope. I'm still having my watch parties for it. You know, I really hope it's good, especially with Game of Thrones being so good early on. So I'm hoping this is gonna
Right.
be good too. But now that Embracer pretty much owns that show relatively, like it's going to be very interesting how that works because the show has already been made and has already been approved for a second
Right.
season,
Right.
and now like the rights have been bought by this Swedish video game company and they own everything. It's a weird dynamic.
Right.
And I
I
don't know
think
why Embracer bought that. Like I get from a money standpoint, but like I don't think this is the perfect match. If that makes sense.
I'm ready to see what happens. What excites me because I'm not the biggest Lord of the Rings fan. I've seen the content. I haven't seen like everything. Like I haven't seen the Hobbit trilogy and all of that.
You're
But
not
I
missing
have
much.
played.
You're not missing much.
Okay, good. Well, I have played a lot of their games, and the games they used to be really good. Even Shadow of War, like it's a solid game, but I feel like they could definitely do more. So, like having new ownership that will allow you to do more. Hopefully, the quality will stay there. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. But I don't think there's anything wrong with having more Lord of the Rings games. Give me those PS2, the Two Tower games because those were good games. They were great. And then on top of it, Embracer Group also bought stuff like Dead Island 2 and says that's still in development and we're still going to get those sorts of games. So I know a lot of people are concerned about, Embracer Group just buying up all the different companies and all the different IP properties at this point.
Especially since
But
they were originally like THQ Nordic.
right.
It's like this is weird dynamic that this once like just random video game company is now just like this
Soaking up
huge
everything.
behemoth. It's just a
Right.
weird idea, but I mean, I don't see anything wrong with it. It's just when a random video game company buys the rights to one of like the most cherished like and they didn't get the literature, but the movie and game rights and merchandising rights to one of the most like cherished like franchises we have in media.
You just got to be a little careful.
Yeah, we can't just go like I remember when was it Disney gave the video game rights of Star Wars to EA.
Mm-hmm.
And on paper, that didn't sound like the worst idea in the world,
At the
but
time.
oh my God, once we got it, like that was 10 years of misery for Star Wars games.
Yeah,
That was a long 10 years.
And then eventually we got Jedi Fallen Order.
Literally in the last year of the contract.
Right.
Like it's crazy.
Right.
It's absolutely crazy. So I hope that at the very least we get some pretty good Lord of the Rings games out of this.
I think we will. I'm excited for it.
And
We did
one thing we know, Monolith's probably not gonna be developing it anymore.
Yeah.
Because they're working on that one. They're working on the Wonder Woman game.
Right. Yeah.
And so
we'll
I assume that's going to be their thing for a while. They're gonna have to find other studios. I mean, they're a video game company, so I'm sure it's not gonna be hard, but the quality of those
right.
is going to be.
Don't give us another Bikini Bottom rehydrated.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Embracer Group, they're known for games like Destroy All Humans, and it's like they're not exactly known for these critically acclaimed masterpieces.
And they've been remaking a lot of them. Destroy All Humans was recently remade. Bikini Bottom, that too. I think we might get a remake of those Lord of the Rings games.
You
which
can't
I
remake.
wouldn't
You can't remake
mad
those
at.
games, Alfredo.
Why not?
Those games came out in a completely different time. You can't like licensed games don't even look like that anymore. Like when's the last time you seen a video game cut to a movie scene?
I'm just saying, I wouldn't be mad. I would play. I would buy that game
either. I wouldn't buy it, but I wouldn't be mad either.
I would buy it.
Would you buy it for 50?
They had a great RPG tree.
Would you buy it for 50? It was 50.
40.
No.
I'll buy it for 40.
For 50.
Sold.
Oh, okay. Well, just like how I accused you of not buying that game for 50, Microsoft is accusing PlayStation of paying publishers to keep off of Game Pass. I'm not surprised, but
can we really be surprised? I'm not surprised either.
I didn't know there was a system in place. Like that's the part that's surprising me. I didn't know there was a system in place and an actual like fee or an actual like bonus they pay to like publishers to keep their. I didn't know it went that far.
Yeah, they literally call it in their contract blocking rights.
Right.
And through this, basically, I think a lot of people were talking about possibly Cult of the Lamb because that was really hyped. A lot of people were hoping that would be on Game Pass, and it wasn't. So a lot of people were saying, "Oh, maybe this was part of that. Maybe Sony like paid so that it wasn't on Game Pass." But that team did come out and say they definitely didn't do that. But it does make you question, okay, what games have they blocked the rights to? And we know this. What the crazy thing is that this only came up. Microsoft completely threw PlayStation under the bus because of their merger with Activision Blizzard.
Mhm.
So basically, what happened was that PlayStation said, "Oh, like this is dangerous that you are basically soaking up all of these studios and merging everyone into your one company. So we object to this."
And
And
also,
then
they also
Microsoft
made the
said,
case.
"Well,
Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have to cut you off, but they also made the
yep."
case during that Call of Duty has no competition. Call of
Mm-hmm.
Duty is its own like thing, and taking it off of PlayStation potentially is a monopolistic practice.
Right.
That was the argument they're overall making with it, and this was Microsoft's response.
Right. They said, well, if you want to play this game, what about you paying for literally us not to have games?
And I mean, I'm very much in the middle of this because I think it's very weird because Microsoft, one thing they also said was they're like, well, Sony, if you just make your own, like, if you get your streaming service popping like Game Pass, then you
Yep.
can reap the benefits like us.
Hmm.
And part of me just feels like that's like in school and the kid who's like rocking the new Jordans. He's like, why doesn't everybody have Jordans? Why can't everybody be as fresh as me? And it's like, because your mom bought you those, dude,
Right.
and nobody else.
PlayStation does not have the capital like Microsoft
Right.
does, and
Like
they know
that,
it.
like that argument is so like it's from such a privileged position because Game Pass, I don't even want to know how much money that costs Microsoft.
Mhm.
Like just in terms of the dollar amount, because the cost of it are so multifaceted that it's almost hard to keep up. Because
Right.
you have to take into account like how much would Halo Infinite had sold if it was just a standalone game you had to buy for 60? The
Mhm.
sales from that would theoretically be a loss you would put.
Right.
It's hard. You can't really account for that because it's like it's not a tangible number, but that would be part of the like cost of Game Pass.
What's interesting about that too is that because that was the first thing that came up, like how much are they losing? Like, is it actually gaining the money? And obviously it is because it's this huge thing. But they've actually came out and posted numbers and said that like for certain games they've actually sold way more than they projected they would sell if they didn't have Game Pass. And the reasoning they had behind that was that okay, like your friend has Halo Infinite specifically on Game Pass, right? Oh, they want to play this co-op game. If they don't want to buy, Xbox Game Pass, they can just buy the actual game. So they're selling more copies of the actual games to people who don't want to buy Xbox Game Pass, but knows from their friends that, oh, you got to get this game because I tried it on Xbox Game Pass. It's great. So they posted numbers from that and said they're making a profit through there. I'm not sure how much I trust that, but I know they're making millions and millions of dollars every single month using Game Pass because of their now up to 25 million subscribers or something crazy like that. I don't know where the number is right now, but they were up there before.
Yeah, I mean, it's a weird dynamic between like how much Game Pass loses in terms of how much loss is represented through Game Pass because they don't report it. So
Right.
it's like all guesswork.
Mhm.
But you can just assume that I can just assume it hasn't made a profit yet. Like
I would think they do. You're with
Netflix isn't profitable theoretically.
Yeah, but this is gaming and like
I feel
I
like
guess
this requires a lot more money than even a Netflix to start,
yeah, it
right?
does.
So it's like not any company could have just started this.
Mhm.
Only Microsoft was even capable of doing it because you're
Right.
going to have to record that loss. And no other company would even dare record that kind of loss.
Mhm.
Even PlayStation, the way they've done it, they've gone into the streaming war trepidatiously.
Right,
Because they
cautiously.
don't even, because Sony, you have to also understand, they're also a media company. They
Mhm.
also like have their own media division, and they could theoretically do a Sony Plus, and they choose not to because they
No
don't
one
want to
would
do
buy
that.
it. No one
It-
would buy it.
I don't think that nobody would buy it. It's not even that per se, because you're probably right about that, but I don't think that's the reason why. I think they're looking at it of we can just license all of our movies out to all these other streaming companies, just net all the money from that.
Mhm.
Like we could just put Spider-Man No Way Home, like give that to Disney Plus, and they have to pay us like $200 million a year.
Right.
It's
Right.
like that's profitable. That's a smart business move. I don't think if Game Pass didn't exist, Sony would have never released the new PlayStation
Oh,
Plus.
for sure.
Like they
They
were
were trying to
forced,
fight it tooth and nail all the way
right?
through.
And
They were
there's
forced basically
and they're
to do
still
it.
fighting it.
Mhm.
Like they're still fighting it to this day. And at the end of the day, at some point, Call of Duty is not going to be on PlayStation because Microsoft has been saying for the past couple months, like, yeah, our plan is to keep all legacy titles,
Right.
on the systems.
Yeah.
Also, we want to keep Call of Duty as a multi-platform. But
For
the
now.
key word is
For
one.
now.
I think they said for now. They said that we're going to keep it as we want to keep it as a multiplayer
Right.
title.
They well,
Keyword there is want to.
they said they also said the specific titles that would be keeping it. So like they said, oh, Modern Warfare 2, which is coming out, Warzone 2, and like they said one other game, and like that's all they said.
But I remember they did say they want to keep it multi-platform. They
Yeah,
did
they
say that.
did. They did.
But the problem is things can get negotiated, and it could, because what happens when they come to the table after the contract's over and like, yeah, we want to double. Like
Mhm.
you have to pay double what you used to pay to get Call
Get
of
it on
Duty.
your system.
So he's gonna
Yep.
be like, no. Like, and so yeah, it's like that from that aspect, it's like that's the reality. But from Sony's argument of Call of Duty has no competition, that's just wrong.
I
Because Call
mean,
of Duty is it's a big game, of course, but it also like Warzone is different than Call of Duty
right.
multiplayer, and they have different competitors. Like Warzone's competitors, Fortnite, and
Mhm.
Fortnite's
Right.
winning.
Right.
Fortnite's bigger than Warzone. Not, I don't know about much bigger because Warzone's fucking huge,
I
but
mean, Fortnite is way huger, so I would say much,
I don't know
much
about because
bigger.
I feel like there's a lot of people playing Warzone, but you might be right. But that's competition.
Yeah.
Like Halo Infinite, as horrible as Battlefront 2047, it was 2040. What is
I
it?
don't even know. Oh,
Whatever that Battlefield
I know.
is,
2088? I don't know.
something like that.
Something.
I played 10 minutes of it and cut it off. But that game's a competitor. Those are competitors. Like Call of
And
Duty is
Sony
not.
doesn't have one is the main problem. Like they
But they do.
completely
They have the multiplats. Excuse me. But they
yeah, but they don't I mean like a first party. They completely abandoned what's it called? Medal of
Killzone.
Honor, I think they had
Yeah,
back in
Medal
the
of
day.
Honor. They abandoned Killzone.
SOCOM, all of that. Like they
I
don't have
mean,
any first party.
they don't, but they do have Bungie, and we
Mhm.
will see what Bungie creates for them.
Right? Yep.
That is a possibility. Because I mean, truth be told, we're not talking about Call of Duty leaving PlayStation. Like maybe even like through this console generation, like depending on how long this console generation is, it's very possible we still have Call of Duty on PlayStation till
Mhm.
then. It depends on what the deal is, but there's plenty of time for Sony to develop what they need to develop, like the game.
Right.
I just
Definitely.
don't buy the argument that there's no competition. Like
Yeah.
that was just a stupid argument from the jump because they're upset that now they're probably gonna have to pay
They're
more.
scrambling. They're
Right.
scrambling. They need something to stop this because they're kind of screwed when this happens,
I
and it
don't
will
think
happen.
I don't think they're really screwed.
I mean, they're screwed in that one of the biggest money makers of a multi-platinum isn't coming their way anymore, so they'll really be
Oh,
forced
from that,
to
okay.
invest in themselves. they'll be forced to like, okay, how do we create our own like huge Call of Duty?
But I also think there's there's room for opportunity here
Oh yeah.
because there are a lot of people who, even as much as they like Call of Duty, they are not about to buy an Xbox
Yeah,
to play Call
that's
of
true.
Duty. Especially if Sony if Sony brings back SOCOM or does something different and it's literally Call of Duty basically,
Hmm.
but with
They'll go
Sony
there.
quality,
Yeah, they'll play it.
people will adapt to that. The issue is Call of Duty. People tend to hate on Call of Duty, but from a gameplay perspective, it pretty much has the best shooting of any game.
Hmm. Yep.
Like there's a reason why Call of Duty is popular. Like it's pretty much like how all the basketball and football games just look incredible because
Hmm.
they only have to focus on one thing.
Right.
And Call of
Right.
Duty gets to
Exactly.
focus on literally just this 5-hour story and
And the
then
shooting.
and the shooting. And the
Yep.
shooting has come such a long way. And so I think that Sony will be fine. I think scrambling is a good word to use for it. They're scrambling, trying to find a way to get this deal to get nixed. It's probably not
It
going to get
won't happen.
nixed.
Yeah.
So we just got to look
I
forward to this
am
future.
I am excited though, seeing what will come out of Sony's hands. What they will
Sony
be
works good.
forced to create, which we know one of them will be factions, which they're already doing, and that will be all over that when that comes out. But what else are we gonna
When in
get?
2025, Alfredo?
God. No, we'll get that in. I was gonna say
Don't say
2023.
2023. You're going to jinx it.
I
It's going
was
to be
gonna say it.
2024. It's going to be 2024. I already see
It's
it.
got to be 2024 going at this rate. They gave us a screenshot, Thomas. A screenshot. Not even that. They gave us concept art. What is that? Concept art
I
after how many years?
I am
2, 3?
I
So
am
many years.
anticipating that Naughty Dog is going there. I don't think it's been reported. That's my guess. I think they are doing the Uncharted 3 Last of Us playbook. I think the studio has been separated into two.
Mm.
And I think that one side is developing factions and the other side is developing their next IP, which I
Yep.
believe they said is going to be a new IP.
Could it be 3 games because they were doing part 1? Someone's working on part 1.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's already done though. So
Yeah.
I'm saying like in the pipeline.
Yeah.
In the pipeline, I
We'll
feel like
see.
they're working on 2 games, and I feel like they're going to be I feel like factions. We're going to get our first big. It's going to be at the same conference. Mark my words. I want this date
No, it
written down.
won't. I
It's
think
going to
we're
be at
gonna
the
see.
same conference. We're at some state of play or whatever that the big conference PlayStation does every year. They're going to show factions gameplay, and then the one more thing is going to be you're going to see the Naughty Dog logo again, and it's going to be the new IP.
Mm.
That's the
I
most
was gonna
PlayStation
say
thing you could possibly do.
it is. I was gonna say Factions Game Awards in December.
I don't hate that
I
guess
think we're
either.
gonna finally see it there. I really
I
hope we
don't hate
do.
that guess either. That would actually be a pretty good place to show it.
I could see Game Awards, and at the end of it, it'll be like holiday 2023. Then it gets pushed to 2024. That's what I
Damn,
foresee.
we're already accounting for delays.
Right.
What we're becoming better video game journalists.
Got to do our research.
Gotta do our research, but I want to thank everybody. Oh, my camera died.
Your
Literally
camera is frozen.
almost perfect. My phone died, but almost
We can still
perfect
hear
timing.
you. You're fine. We hear
Good. So
your
I can
beautiful
end
voice.
the podcast right. I want to thank everybody for listening or watching the Dukes of Gaming podcast. You can listen to us on your favorite podcast service and watch us live on YouTube and Twitch. Leave a like, a review, a comment, anything to help support the show. You can even email us at therealdukesofgaming@gmail.com. Have your question read live on air through Cole's mailbag when he is here. We post everywhere, every week. So make sure you start your week right with the Dukes of Gaming.